Claude Sonnet, sorry, Claude Opus 4.6, our smartest model in the world for AI, has just got better. And you can see the new release right here. So it was just announced a few hours ago. This is Claude Opus 4.6, the smartest ever model from Claude. It's just been upgraded once again. You can see the benchmarks here. Honestly, I don't really care about the benchmarks. I don't really trust them. I don't think they're very useful in real life, but you can see how they perform. If we have a look here, for example, you've got Opus 4.6 versus 4.5 versus Sonnet, 4.5 versus Gemini, and it crushes them all on all of these, as you can see right here. So this is going to be very interesting to see how it performs. They've also got a new update called Agent Teams, as you can see right here. So you can orchestrate teams of Claude code sessions. I'm excited to try this out, and you can also get it available on the API. You see here that Claude Opus 4.6 is available on Claude AI, Claude Developer Platform, all major cloud platforms, and within Cowork as well. So we can take a look at the blog post here. If you actually want to get started on this, you can go over to Claude AI, like you can see, and start using it here directly. What you do is just click on the drop down here, and then you're going to switch to 4.6, Opus 4.6, and start using it. Now, we can actually compare these side by side. So if we look at the older version of Claude versus the new one, I think it'll be honestly a slight difference, but who knows? So if we go, for example, for Sonnet 4.5 versus Opus 4.6, we've got them in two different chat windows. And then what we're going to do from here is we are going to grab a prompt for SEO from the AI Profit Boardroom. If we scroll down, we'll get the video to blog post section here. And then we're going to check out this prompt and plug this into Claude. All right, so if we go back to Claude here, we'll put keyword equals SEO training in London, and we'll do the same inside here as well. Exactly the same prompt, Opus 4.6 versus 4.5 Sonnet. Obviously two different models, so that's the easiest way to compare them side by side, and we'll see how they perform. And says waiting for Gemini to really up the game. I would agree. I think they are beginning to fall behind. It's been a while since Gemini really pushed anything that blew my mind. Obviously, when Gemini 3 Pro came out, it was pretty impressive, but that feels like a long time ago in the AI world. So this is .6 on the right-hand side. And then we have Sonnet 4.5 on the left-hand side. These are both on extended thinking. We'll see how they perform, all right? It's actually interesting. The way that it's formatted looks different. You can see the Sonnet 4.5 seems to be a lot slower than Opus 4.6. So for example, here, it's already written the content, it's expanding the content, proofreading it, whereas Sonnet 4.5 Extended is taking a lot longer just to create part one of the article. So it does seem like in terms of speed, they're very different, like you can see. And in the meantime, let's check out the differences here. So you can see here it says on the official website, the new Claude Opus 4.6 improves on its predecessors' coding skills. It plans more carefully, sustains agentic tasks for longer, can operate more reliably in larger code bases, and has better code review. So it's very like code focused, right? That's what it's really focusing about. One of the biggest differences here is the larger context window. It's actually, what, 5 times longer? I think previously it was 200K for the context window, and now that's gone up to 1 million token context window, which is pretty insane. We got the legendary Marcin, mate. I see you everywhere. So shout out to you. You're doing good marketing, man. What up, bro? How you like it so far? I'm doing a test as we speak for mobile on all tools. This is literally the first time I've tested it out, so I haven't seen the outputs just yet, but Claude always delivers, don't they? They're always good. So yeah, shout out to Marcin. We met at the school games in Los Angeles. Both won the school games in Q3 last year. Went to Los Angeles to meet Alex Hormozy and Sam Ovens. That was pretty amazing. So let's go back to this, what we got here. So this is the 4.6 output. This is Sonnet 4.5. Let's pull them up. So this one has actually given us 5 headline options, which is what we wanted, whereas this one only gave us 1. So already Opus 4.6 is following the instructions better. Also, what I would say here is, like, if you look at the actual headlines, this headline is less relevant to the search intent, right? So this bit right here, nobody searching for this keyword cares about that, right? What they care about is like how to rank, which is what the search intent is covered inside the headlines of each of these articles. Now let's pull down an example, see what we got here. Look at this. So if you look at this is Sonnet, the old version. SEO training London never taught me what I'm about to show you. It just doesn't quite make sense, right? It feels kind of forced. And that sentence right there is just kind of weird. You'd read that and be like, what you on about, mate? You know? Whereas if you read this intro, SEO training London is something thousands of people search for every single month. Most of them end up wasting their time on outdated rubbish, right? I would say this article just feels a lot better written, not just the way that it's written, which is actually better, but also the fact that it's got a lot more personality. And also, just like if you look at the actual language used and the way that it's used semantically, it feels more natural, right? It fits into the conversation more. So for sure, Opus 4.6 already feels better versus Sonnet, which is great. Now, let's have a look at the rest of the announcement here. So it says, the model's performance is state-of-the-art on several evaluations, blah, blah, blah. And then you can see here it's got knowledge work, agentic search, coding, and reasoning, right? So 4 different areas right here. If you have a look at the benchmarks, you can see 4.6 is absolutely crushing on knowledge work. Let's take a look at agentic search. Yep, it's crushing on agentic search. And then coding. Marcin says, appreciate you. Great time in LA. You see me? I feel like you have 20 clones, mate. Keep crushing. I probably do have about 20 clones, something like that. So if we have a look here as well, we got the coding benchmarks are much higher. Let's have a look at reasoning. Yeah, reasoning as well. Now it says you can assemble agent teams on tasks together, right? So on the API, Claude can use compaction to summarize its own context and perform longer running tasks without bumping against limits. Now, compaction was something that you saw before previously. If you were using the new update from Opus 4.5, it would sometimes it would go over the context window and it would compact the conversation to make it easier to carry on going without just ending the conversation there. So it seems like it's using that plus higher context windows to basically create more and better with Claude Code. It also says they've made substantial upgrades to Claude and Excel, and they're releasing PowerPoint as well in a research preview. It's available on API as well, so it's not just available inside the chat, but also API. You can see some little testimonials there from GitHub and Notion, and then evaluating Opus 4.6 right here on the benchmarks. So it looks pretty cool. Let's try some other stuff now. I'm actually going to try comparing the old versus new, and we'll do a few more tests. I'm going to use the AI Success Lab to come up with some new tests and interesting ones. So we're going to try this prompt right here and see what the difference is between the outputs from Sonnet versus Opus. So if we go to a new chat, We'll try this out. So this is Opus 4.6, and we'll compare it against Sonnet 4.5 and see if there's a big difference between them. Let's have a look at the APIs as well. If we go over to models, yeah, so we've got Opus 4.6 right here. And let's compare it against Opus 4.5. All right, yeah, so you can see a big difference here. So you got 1 million versus 200K context window. They're both reasoning models. This is faster than Opus 4.5, so the latency is lower, as you can see, less latency. Same price, actually, that's interesting. So they are the same cost. And 4.6 can't work with files as an input modality, whereas 4.5 can. Also, not just the input tokens, but the output tokens as well for context are much higher. It's doubled. So the 5x their context window for input tokens, and then max output tokens, they've doubled. Nice. What else we got here? One Nation says, thank you, Julian Goldie. You're almost live 24/7. Your AI and SEO tips are incredibly helpful and inspiring. Happy to help. And then N says, can you make it create a website in one go? We'll test that out in a second as well. Let's come back to this. So we'll see what we got here. So we've got both of them still coding out the Space Invaders game. Let's set up another test in the background. Oh, actually, we've got this ready from Opus 4.5. So, I mean, sorry, Sonnet 4.6. Sonnet 4.5. I'm losing track of all the numbers here. So we got, this is the version from Sonnet, which looks pretty cool. And then we're still waiting for Opus 4.6. So it does seem to be taking a little bit longer. You can see it's still coding out right there. Now, let's try and create a website with them side by side. So this is the landing page. I'm going to plug this into both of these. Let's make sure we switch to 4.6 of it. I'm going to say create a, and this is basically for my AI automation community, AI profit boardroom, right? So I'm going to see if we can create a better version of this, or if there's even a big difference between the two when it comes to one-shotting a website. So I'm going to say, okay, create a beautiful, modern, direct response sales page for this website. I'll put my brand colors, make it beautiful, interesting, domain inducing. All right. We'll take the same prompt. We'll plug it into Sonnet 4.5 as well. And then we'll see how these perform. In the meantime, we do have the new Space Invaders game from Opus 4.6. So let's see how that performs. Ooh, this is looking good. Look at this, peeps. Look at this. So you can see here, for example, if we check out the game from Sonnet, it just goes straight into the game, right? So there's no like entry point or anything like that. If you look at Opus 4.6, it's actually created the title page of the game before people can start using it. It's got sound effects. I'm just going to mute this. It feels way smoother, right? Feels way smoother when you play it. Looks pretty cool. I love the effects. I love the way it's designed. This is in one prompt as well. I mean, it looks super nice, doesn't it? How cool does that look? And it actually works, right? So compare that versus this. Like, I would say this is way more messy, right? If you compare them side by side, you're like, oh, this is clean but fun to play, right? So I would say 4.6 is absolutely crushed on it when it comes to the actual outputs right there. Let's try another test right now. I'm going to close Sonnet for now because I don't think we need that. Let's have a look what we got on the website. Right, it's still coding out the website. That's okay. So now what we're going to do is we shall go to create another game. By the way, if you want the prompts that I'm testing out right here, they're all for free inside the AI Success Lab. Link in the comments description. We're going to test another thing here. So we'll try this one right here. Plug that in. DMV says Opus 4.6 memory is trash and it chews through tokens. So we're actually using this inside the chat, so we're not using tokens. And also the memory is just built into the account. But yeah, I can imagine like if you use it on the API, I mean, it's the same as Opus 4.5, right? It could get expensive if you use it on the API for sure. And Ian says use Claude Cowork to test 4.6. All right. Let's test this out. So we're going to go to Claude over here. We may need to update. Let's have a look. So Cowork over here. There we go. Oh yeah, we got Opus 4.6 built in, as you can see. What would you like me to test here? Maybe we can just create something from one of those lists right here. We'll create this one. Just open up a new folder. If you're not familiar with Claude Cowork, got loads of training inside the AI Success Lab, but basically this is like an AI agent that connects locally with your laptop. So from here, we're going to type in just a little folder to set this up in. Go from here, hit always allow. Then we'll plug this in. Ian says, build skills and plugins. It's like a Clawdbot now. Yeah, I suppose it pretty much is, isn't it? Yeah, I can imagine this is very similar. In fact, if we go over here and we go to new task, right? And then inside the Claude 4.6 folder, I'm going to grab from my downloads the skillbots.zip. This is a skill that I have set up so that I can quickly create like images, videos, podcasts, etc. using Claude. I'm going to say install the attached skillbot skills, then create a quick image of a lobster. Let's see if we can do that. All right, so we've got two things coding out with Opus 4.6 inside Claude Cowork as well. And then if we go back to the chat directly, we've got the game over here and we have the website over here. So you see the website. It's not bad. It's not bad. Would I say it's as good as the original? This is the original right here. I actually think this is better, but it took a lot more prompting, to be fair. This is just a one-shot website, as you can see. Looks pretty nice, though. Yeah, I mean, we could deploy that, no problem. It looks pretty nice. Look at that design. Wow. Okay, Opus 4.6 is already goated, I think, at this point. Looks super nice. Look at the design of that, the colors it's used, the gradients, the way the button flashes to get attention. It's pretty cool. So if we go back to the Flappy Bird game as well, let's test this out. It's all right. Not bad at all. Not that impressive, but not bad. And then if we go inside here, it's now creating the typing game and the picture of a lobster. All right, so you can see it's beginning to install these skills. However, it is struggling to install those skills. Usually if you're using something like Claude Code, it can install those pretty quickly. Let me try the documentation on the website. We've got the game ready to go, as you can see, so we can allow that. Here we go. Yeah, it works pretty nicely. Pretty easy to set up. Yeah, yeah, that's a nice game right there. All right, so I mean, it's very impressive. It's handled everything that we've thrown at it. It's been pretty simple and easy to set up. Kuno says, "Hi, bro. Good to see you." All right, I've tried it inside Claude Cowork as well. It doesn't seem to use the Skillbox API very well. It seems to be struggling with that. Whereas I know, for example, if you were using anti-gravity or you were using something like, for example, Claude Code, this would work way better. So I would say this is where it's failed, is installing skills, external skills that I've already preloaded, that work on other platforms and that sort of thing. So everything else was all good. Let's just try this one. So I'm going to try it one more time. Give it one more shot. Let's see how it goes. Ask it to build its own skills and persistent memory. Yeah, so I mean, it could easily do that just by it, but Opus 4.5 could do that too. But yeah, if you wanted to just create a persistent memory, like you could say, okay, create a skill for SEO, something like that. Yeah, so it failed on setting up Skill Boss. Let's see if it can create a skill for SEO blog writing or not. Yeah, look at this. He's totally failed on that as well. I would say Claude Cowork is probably the biggest letdown, but maybe we have to just update. So I'm going to try and update and restart Claude now. Let's try this one more time. Yeah, look, it's not working at all. Didn't work with the SEO. So I mean, like it seems really good apart from Claude Cowork. When I tested out with Claude Cowork, pretty average to be honest with you. So that's basically it for Claude 4.6. If you want to get a full guide on Claude 4.6, we've actually created a full step-by-step guide here on how you can use it, what it means, etc. And that's inside the AI Profit Boarding, which is my AI automation community. Link in the comments description, or just go to aiprofitboarding.com. Inside here, you'll find an amazing, supportive community of great people who are all focused on scaling, saving time, and growing a business with AI, right? So you can post inside the community. We have 56 people online right now, 2,300 members. Inside the calendar, you can ask questions and jump on live calls whenever you want. On the map here, we have people all over the world. So if you want to meet people inside your local area, you can see that we have people all over the world, and you can meet some amazing people who are doing similar things to you in your local area. DM them, jump on a Zoom call, meet in real life, etc. Inside the classroom, you can actually get our best trainings. For example, we have a full 6-week AI automation masterclass that takes you from beginner to expert with AI, plus how to create your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. If you're interested in Clawdbot and Moltbot and OpenClaw, you can see we actually have full courses on how to use this stuff with step-by-step guides right here. If you want to get all my best playbooks that I personally use for my business, you can get them inside the playbook section here. So, for example, my X and Twitter automations, my automations for Shorts, Instagram, how I automate AI avatar videos. And also, if you miss the coaching calls, you can watch them back in this section. We also show you here how to get more clients for your agency. And additionally, if you want to rank #1 with AI and SEO and rank inside other search engines, you can check that out right here. Additionally, you can learn how to grow a YouTube channel from scratch using this section here based on what's working for me. So that's all inside the AI Profit Boarding. Feel free to get it, link in the comments description. If you're wondering, okay, like are other people getting results with this too? So it's not just me. So for example, Steve Light is crushing it with his YouTube AI challenge. You can see here that Abdullah built his first NA10 automation, which is pretty amazing. CJ learned how to install NA10 locally. And Joseph built his own to-do list app, right? So that was just within the last 24 hours. And there's so many people winning and learning and growing with AI inside this community. Plus, you can connect with me personally inside there. We have a brand new update from ChatGPT. We've got GPT 5.3 Codex. This has just arrived. Apparently, it has the best coding performance. It's faster than ever. Less than half the tokens of 5.2 Codex for the same tasks. So it's 25% faster per token. It's supposed to be quite good at computer use as well. And one of the interesting things about this is Opus 4.6, which also just came out today from Claude and Anthropic, came out within minutes of ChatGPT 5.3 Codex. So you can see how they're basically competing to win your attention when it comes to AI. And we can find the full details here. So these are the details on GPT 5.3 Codex. And they've said, we're introducing a new model that unlocks even more of what Codex can do. GPT 5.3 Codex, the most capable agentic coding model to date, right? The model advances, blah, blah, blah. And this is their first model. Here's all the details. So you can see state-of-the-art performance on SWE benchmarks. Right here, it's outperforming Codex 5.2 and GPT 5.2 by quite a long way. Quite good for development, so web development. So for example, like web games and that sort of thing. Here's an example of something actually created. It's pretty cool. It's like a 3D game that it created right here. Here's another one. And you actually got the prompts as well here, and you can play it yourself, these games that it's created. So we can open that up and then start using it. This is a website that it coded out, as you can see right here. And we've actually got the full prompt that we can test out like so. Now let's have a look if this is available inside my Codex OS. So if I open up Codex OS, which literally just came out this week as well, we're going to update this. You can see the blue button to update. Reopen it. And boom, shakalaka. We have GPT 5.3 Codex ready to go. So what we're going to do from here is we are going to create a new project. Let's set this bad boy up, 5.3. And we'll open this inside GPT Codex. GPT Codex OS is free for a limited time only. All right, so it's not free forever. It's free for a limited time only, just being 100% transparent with you. But you can test it out for free, right? And inside there, we can get access to GPT 5.3. Now, I'm not sure which plan this is available on, so let's have a look. Ah, look at this. So yeah, GPT 5.3 is available with paid ChatGPT plans. Everywhere you can use Codex, the app, CLI, ID, extension, and web, right? So it says everywhere you can use Codex. So I assume that if you've got access to Codex for free, then whilst that's available for free, you can probably get 5.3 Codex for free. But I don't know because it doesn't say on the website. It doesn't tell me, all right? So I don't know 100%. Now, if we go back to Codex over here, we can start coding something out. So let's create a new project here. And you know what? I think this could be quite fun. I'm going to create a test. We're going to plug this in, right? Like so. And I'll create this website in the background. But one thing that I want to test this out with, we're going to add a new project here, is we are going to create a new folder. And I call this OpenClaw, right? OpenClaw plus 5.3 attempt. Now, what I'm going to attempt here inside this project is, number one, I'm going to uninstall OpenClaw, and then I'm going to see if GPT 5.3 Codex can figure out how to, number one, install OpenClaw from the GitHub, but number two, if it can figure out how to actually use Codex 5.3 OAuth inside OpenClaw as well, or whether it's going to default to 5.2. Because if you can switch it to 5.3, that's going to be impressive. Let's see how it goes. So what I'm going to do is take the uninstall instructions from the AI Profit Boardroom. As you can see right here, just to remove this. The reason that I like to uninstall it quickly is because otherwise, like, if you try and update it or you try and switch over an API, that can take a lot more time and work than just uninstalling it and reinstalling it. And then if you want to export the memory from OpenClaw, you can just do that before you uninstall it, right? So now what we're going to do is open up the OpenClaw GitHub like so. We'll grab this. Then we'll go back to Codex like this. I'm going to say, okay, install this, plus figure out a way to use Codex 5.3 OAuth with OpenClaw. Let's see if it can do it. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's no update yet from OpenClaw that allows you to use Codex 5.3. You can use ChatGPT Codex, but it's 5.2 only, from what I can see, as you can see right here. Here we got here, Sportus, you legend, mate. Nice caught this live. Good to see you here, Sportus. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it as always. And we're now going to run this using GPT 5.3 Codex. We can switch between the reasoning as well. Look at this. So you got low, you got medium, you got high, and you got extra high. Extra high. That's pretty insane. So if we go back to the landing page that we're creating now as well, here we go, my friends. So we've got the index HTML, and that's finished creating this out. So I'm going to say, okay, now open it up. And this is for the website that we created, just taking the prompt off OpenAI's announcement to see whether it could create the same thing. So this is the page that we created using Codex 5.3. Works nicely, pretty simple and easy to set up. Literally took a couple of minutes whilst we were setting up OpenClaw to get that sorted out. So that was pretty nice. I like that. Now let's go back to OpenClaw and see how it's doing. And you see here it says clone is in progress. Once it completes, I'll install with pnpm, then configure the test, right? The cool thing about Codex is even though it says code and even though it says Codex in the name, it's pretty easy to set up, right? Like you don't need to be a coder to use this. And I'll tell you why, because I'm not a coder and I can use it, right? I can build landing pages in a couple of minutes using this process right here. Now, if you want to get a full guide on how to use Codex itself, I actually just created one a couple of days ago inside the AI Success Lab. You can grab that right here. So you can see this is my full guide to OpenAI Codex with a full setup, 30-day plan, 100 prompts that you can use for building with this. OpenAI Codex is one of the most impressive OpenAI products that I've seen this year. So this is beginning to set up now. It's going to npm install it. That page looks clean, better than Claude, actually. Yeah, I would agree. ISAM says, is it 5 times better? And when I say 5 times better, I mean that it's got a 5 times larger context window when it comes to Claude. So that's what I mean by that. And then we're going to see how this performs. So it's successfully installed OpenClaw. And it says, I'm now checking OpenClaw's provider model configuration to produce a concrete Codex 5.3 setup. Now it's going to test if 5.3 works. I have a feeling it's not going to work, but let's see. Let's see what other people are saying about Codex 5.3 as well. This is interesting. This is a tweet by Neil who says Codex 5.3 versus Opus 4.6. The too long didn't read is Opus 4.6 has 1 million context, enterprise knowledge work, 500 0 days found, agent teams in Claude code, not benching as high as Codex 5.3, right? Now, obviously, benchmarks are self-reported, right? So, you know, you've got to test this stuff out for yourself. And then GPT 5.3 is winning on code benchmarks faster and less than half the context window. So Opus 4.6 has a much higher context window. This is interesting. Look at this. So it set up a fallback chain, but I don't think it managed to run 5.3 Codex. Let's try this out. We'll run a local session with OpenClaw, see if this works. It's totally failed on that. Not gonna lie. Look, it says open gateway UI is up. But if we refresh this, it's not working. I say try again. Another thing that we could test out here is we have the previous version of the AI Profit Boardroom website that I created. So I'm going to say open this up, and then I'm going to see if Codex 5.3 can actually improve the previous version of the website too. We've already built a website with 5.3. That was pretty good. I'm also wondering, let me just double check over here. Yeah, so it's not, if you just go to the chat here, you can't see 5.3 inside the chat. So just being 100% honest there as well. Now, if we go back to Codex here, yes, I mean, Codex is not that good from what I can see. It's struggling to install OpenClaw, right? It's being silly there. I've also said open this HTML up for the AI Profit Boarding website. And look, it's failed at that as well. It started using the wrong skill for setting that up and opening it up. Now, I do tend to find that with a lot of these tools, quite often when you start using them, they're not as good as once they've run through the beta period or for the first release. But so far, I would say I'm much more impressed with Claude Opus 4.6 versus using something like Codex 5.3, right? Just from what I've tested today, I can already see and feel that Claude Opus 4.6 is working a lot better, a lot smoother than using something like Codex 5.3. However, it will probably take a lot more testing to figure that out. It's just like, you know, if it can't even open up a simple HTML, then what are we doing here, you know? Yeah, says, how can you not be tired after all those videos? Haven't you gone insane? Not yet, not yet. The only thing insane is the updates themselves. However, I wouldn't say that Codex 5.3 is insane. I would say Opus 4.6 is a lot more impressive. Yeah, it is a lot more impressive. So, thanks so much for watching. If you want to get my full guide on Codex, you can get that inside the AI Success Lab. Link in the comments description. This is a free community that connects you with 52,000 members, as you can see. And then also, if you haven't already, check out the AI Profit Boardroom. This is my AI automation community that shows you how to scale up, save time, and grow your business with AI automation. Inside the community, you can ask any questions you have, get help and support whenever you want it. You can always ask questions. You can share what you're building with the community. There's 2,300 members inside here. And there's people online 24/7, which means that you can get help, you can get support, you can get technical support whenever you need it. It's a very active community. On top of that, inside the calendar here, you can jump on live Zoom calls, ask questions, get on the video call, get support whenever you need it. Inside the classroom, you can learn AI automation from scratch. So you can learn how to go from complete beginner to expert in just 5 weeks, plus learn how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Additionally, you'll get our playbook that shows you how to automate X, newsletters, shorts, Instagram, and AI avatar videos based on what's working for me already. Inside the classroom here, you can learn how to get more clients with the agency course. For the coaching calls, you can watch back the coaching calls if you didn't watch them the first time around live. And you can also learn how to rank #1 inside AI in Google using the AI SEO automation section, and learn how to grow a YouTube channel with AI with this 6-week roadmap. So that's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or go to aiprofitboardroom.com. Nota says, what do you think about anti-gravity? So I really like anti-gravity. I think it's a fantastic model. I think it's great that it's free. And honestly, like, if you can automate so many cool things with it. We actually have training inside here. So if you type in anti-gravity at the top, you can get our full tutorials on Google anti-gravity. So we've got all these video tutorials, like you can see, and you can learn exactly how to use this stuff directly. Yeah, I would say honestly, like from what I saw today as well, like Codex 5.3 is not as impressive as something like Google anti-gravity. I was a lot more impressed with Google anti-gravity when I first started using it. Flavin says, are you on the top plan for ChatGPT? I think I am actually. If we check, let me just double check here. I think this is the wrong account. One sec. Yeah, so I'm on the ChatGPT Pro plan here, as you can see. Anti-gravity with Vertex Studio. I don't really use Vertex Studio, honestly, but I do like anti-gravity. Sporter says, be sure to put your API key out there. I'll try. That's something I focus actively on hiding. It's pretty hard to multitask, live stream, and hide API keys at the same time, but I do my best. And then Flavin says they doubled the credits and I ran out of tokens. Still in my plus plan and have to wait 5 days. Interesting. I didn't know about that. So today we are going to be testing our Claude Opus and trying to connect it to OpenClaw. Now, as far as I'm aware, oh, look at that. We can set up Anthropic with Opus 4.6, as you can see right here. So that's a new update because Opus 4.6 just came out a few hours ago. So let's get started with this. Flint says, how do you set up different models for different things? Like I want a specific code agent just for coding and other models for other things. Well, you can put, if for example, you're using something like OpenClaw, which is what we're running right now, then you can actually put inside the chat, like use subagents for this. So for example, like use subagents for SEO and then do other things for other things, right? That's one of the best ways to do it. It says, where's Sonnet 5? Looks like it doesn't come out. What are your thoughts on the swarm? Can we make the same feature for OpenClaw for all models to be able to do that, not just Opus 4.6? I haven't actually used Opus 4.6 Agent Swarm, so I'm not 100% sure how to use it inside OpenClaw. But you can set up, you can basically just tell it, like, yeah, just use this for that, use that for this, blah blah blah, right? Like it's pretty easy to tell OpenClaw, like, okay, use, for example, like Kimmy 2.5 for SEO, and then use Nano Banana for example, generating images, and then you can just store it inside the memory in the settings. Which one do you think is better? Anti-gravity or Claude Code? Claude Code, but you can use Claude Code inside anti-gravity anyway, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, for sure, Claude Code is more powerful. Yeah. All right, so let's say, hey, oh, it looks like that's not working. Interesting. Just going to uninstall OpenClaw. Then I'll set up the API key of Anthropic. Now, if we go to the terminal here, I think we can set up, oh, let's have a look here. So you've got 4.5, Opus 4.5. There doesn't seem to be a 4.6 inside the setup guide, inside the onboarding. Opus 4.5 seems to be the default. So let's see if we can set up later. I'm going to skip setting up with a messaging app for now. Flavin says the swarm feature in Anthropic looks wild. I might test out later today. Flint says, is there a place I can go after telling it to make sure it's using the one I want, or I just want to see what it's using after I forget in a couple of months? So the way that we do it is like you can test it inside the chat, right? So you can say, okay, number one, give me the memory MD file, and inside the memory MD file, tell me which API you're using for which task, right? And that way you can easily see, okay, it's saved in the MD file. OpenClaw knows exactly what to do. And then also what you want to do after that is once you complete a task that should be using the sub agent, you should ask inside the chat, okay, did you use the right API key for that? Which API did you use for that task, right? And you just check with it directly using that method. So you can check inside the memory MD file, and you can also instruct it inside the chat. And then once you've completed the task, double check with it inside the chat as well. Glover says, are they still getting rid of users using their subscription plan in OpenClaw with Anthropic? I don't know whether, like, I'm not seeing any official announcement, honestly, about that. I think that you do need to be careful when you're doing stuff like that. But as far as I can see, I don't really see like any official announcements on it. However, I wouldn't use OAuth with Claude personally. I just think like, what's the point of it? All right, so we've got the chat here, and then I'm going to say, okay, now, can you figure out a way to use the new release of Opus 4.6 with OpenClaw? I'm going to say, you're currently using Opus 4.5. I want you to use Opus 4.6. See if you can do it. Flint says, I'm using all locally hosted models at this time, trying to do this on the cheap, plus I have plenty of hardware to do it. Yeah, I mean, you can do it any way you want. All right, so let's have a look inside the chat here. It's coming back to us with the answers. And you can see here that what it's done is set a primary and a fallback, right? I don't know if this is going to work. It may just completely break the whole thing. In fact, I have a 50%, I have a feeling that 50% of the time this may fail, right? What I'm also going to do is I'm going to paste in the documentation on Claude Opus 4.6 with OpenClaw. Then we'll paste that into the chat here. So it's updating the config file. I'm kind of 50-50 on whether this will work, but let's see. Let's have a look inside the terminal, see what it's doing. So you can see the config is updated, primary model 4.6, Opus 4.5 on the backup. It's not responding after we've changed the config file. Did have a feeling that might happen. So I'm going to go inside Claude Code and say, for my OpenClaw setup, can you make sure it's using Claude Opus 4.6? Recently switched, and now it doesn't seem to work. So you can see it's like just not responding after we change the config. Gateway says 4.6 has issues. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. And says, fine, creating agents is really problematic since you have to spawn more agents, take on specific roles, and have oversight to ensure they work holistically and not just basically act as precept. Props. Yeah, I don't think anyone's found like a really good solution to that yet, although I'd be interested to see how agent swarms with Opus works in the future. So this is beginning to update. Let's see if it works. Only one way to find out, my friends. And now Claude Code. Claude Code is even worse. It says Claude Opus 4.6 doesn't exist because it's not trained on that yet. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to take this link here. I'm going to say, come on, mate. Here's the details on Opus 4.6. And we'll give it the models page as well on the API documentation. You should be able to use its web search to check the links. Flavin says Anthropic does everything so well, but it actually innovates. Yeah, I would agree. Like Anthropic have crushed for the last sort of 6 months, especially. If you look over Christmas, like everyone else wasn't shipping, whereas now you've got like Claude Opus just creating new updates every single week that are absolutely mind blowing, right? And they're relentless with it as well. It's like Apple when they do something pretty polished. Yeah, I would agree. NBA says, when will Opus 4.6 be in anti-gravity? I've not seen any official announcements, but what you can do if you want to get this in anti-gravity quickly, let me show you how to do that. Right? If you want to put Opus 4.6 in anti-gravity, let's just check if there's any updates. There's no updates available. All right. So we've got to log in. Yes, there's no Opus 4.5. So what you can do is like if you go to terminal here, new terminal. If you want to skip the queue for waiting for Opus 4.6 inside anti-gravity, just type in Claude there. Make sure you've got Claude Code installed, and then you can start using Opus 4.6. Just make sure you switch it inside the chat. You can see here it says Opus 4.6 there. If you don't have Claude Code, then you can use Klein as an extension inside Antigravity as well, and then just use an API from Anthropic that way instead. Toba says, "Is OpenClaw safe, bro?" Well, I mean, like, if you're nervous about using it, don't use it, right? Like, you don't need to. You can just watch my videos, and I'll be the guinea pig, right? I do have a more secure way to set up Malt Worker. So you can use OpenClaw with Malt Worker. This is hosted directly via Cloudflare, and Cloudflare is designed for security purposes. So that's a better way to set up. But yeah, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do anything that you don't want to, right? Like, that's what I always recommend. So I'm just going to give the API key to Claude Code to set up OpenClaw. Do you know how to set this up to run TikTok page and account? What with OpenClaw? I mean, like, it depends what you want to do. I haven't seen anyone create a really good page with TikTok and OpenClaw, but essentially what you could do is you could get OpenClaw with Skillboss to create the videos, the images, the captions, etc., the hashtags, and then you could use an API like Blowtato to take the content that you produce inside OpenClaw and send it over to TikTok to post it, right? That's how you can use it. Looks like OpenClaw is causing these LLMs to update and get close to OpenClaw functionality, which is great for us. I would agree. Short says, check your live chat, mate. Yeah, I am. And then DR says, well, I mean, like you see whichever models you want to use, right? Like that's what I would say. What's the name of the API? So use Blotato. For making the actual videos, you would use something like Veo 3. You can use that with Google AI Studio. You could use Skillboss. Skillboss is another way of creating videos inside OpenClaw. And then from there, to send them from OpenClaw, the video itself plus the captions, over to, for example, TikTok, you could use something like Blotato. What is the best cheap or better yet TikTok scraper to use with OpenClaw? I've not tested it out directly, but I've used it with N8N before, which is Apify. Apify is a really good scraper, so you can use that. And they do have some free plans, I think, so that might be a decent option. Flavin says OpenClaw or Apify. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Well, you can use both, right? You can use Apify with OpenClaw. You can use Blotato for posting, and you can use Veo 3 or Google AI Studio for generating videos themselves. Naheem says, "Can someone answer me, please?" What's the question, mate? Boom shakalaka. There we go. All right. I'm going to say a special thank you to Jabari here, who gave us the answer. This is how we use it. I'm going to put it inside the live stream that I'm doing right now with the link. Thank you very much, sir. What a legend. All right. So that worked perfectly. All right. So if we go to OpenClaw now, we have Opus 4.6 set up. That's awesome. Let's test this out. So I'm going to say I'm Julian Cody. You are OpenClaw. And now you can see we're ready to go. I gotta say, I much prefer using Claude Opus inside OpenClaw. It's by far just the most fun and the most like sentient to talk to out of everything that I've tried. Let's see what we got in the questions. Is it able to set up multiple TikTok accounts? I mean, like, if you're doing something like that, come on, let's be honest. Like, you're probably gonna like that. That's risky, right? I wouldn't recommend doing that. So yeah, I mean, like, even just for setting up the accounts, like, it's not very good. Also, you'd want to use proxies and stuff like that, but you're better off just going down the normal route. To be honest, mate, just create one account. Later, you can always create another. So for this, Naheem, what you want to do is for deploying the actual vibe coding project that you've created, you can use Netlify. And then for accepting new customers, you can use, for example, Stripe, right? You can use Stripe MCP. And that's basically it, mate. There you go. Problem solved. How to get Opus 4.6 set up with OpenClaw. So we just did it right now, as you can see. The way that we did it, as you got a full guide right here, as you can see, I'm going to put this inside the AR Profit Boardroom. So let's go inside the SAP update section here. We'll add a new page. I'm sure they'll release something that makes it much easier, but it took me about 30 minutes to figure this out, and I do this every day. So for most people, it's going to be almost impossible if you don't have the right guide. But if you want to see an example, you can see a full guide right here, showing you exactly how to set it up inside the config. how to follow the setup guide, etc. We also have a full course on like OpenClaw setup, how to use it for free. But if you want to know how to use it with Opus 4.6, we've got the setup guide that worked for me right here. He posted the link in the description. Yep. OpenClaw started talking to me in Chinese yesterday. Yeah, GLM 4.7 is a Chinese API, so sometimes probably will. Agan says, just join the boardroom. Welcome very much, sir. Thank you so much for joining. Short form says, I'm using KimiK 2.5. Yeah, I mean, that's a free way to use it. You can use it with a llama for free. So there you go. And Sawyer says, perfect, thanks. You are the best. All right. So that's basically how to set up Opus 4.6 with OpenClaw. I've shown you the guide, shown you it actually works, shown you the setup process, and you can see we are now using Opus 4.6 inside there, right? Not easy to set up if you don't know the right way, but if you want the right way, you can check out the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comment description. Go to the classroom here, and you can get all my latest updates. So every single time that I learn something new about OpenClaw, how to set up, how to use it, how to set up securely, etc., how cool use cases, even like a full 6-hour guide on OpenClaw, plus a 3-hour course right here, plus a setup guide for Opus 4.6. This is all inside the AI Profit Boardroom, which is my AI automation community to help you save time and grow with AI automation. There's 2,300 members inside here, so you can ask questions, get help, get support whenever you want, post inside the community, meet cool people, etc. We have 4 weekly coaching calls, so you can jump on the coaching calls and ask questions live on a Zoom call. You can meet local members inside your area as well. So we have members all over the world, and you can zoom in on the map, DM people, meet cool people in your area who are doing similar things. Like even in Acapulco, mate, we have people there. So shout out to Aaron, and you can DM them and then say, hey, you want to jump on a Zoom call, meet, etc. Inside the AI Profit Boardroom, we have all of this. Naheem says, bro, do you have an X account for a private chat? I have a school group for private chat. So you can direct message me inside this school group, the AI Profit Boardroom, and you can contact me there, right, if you want to get in touch. That's the only place I answer DMs, by the way. So inside the classroom here, we show you how to go from beginner to expert with AI automation, plus how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Inside the playbook here, you'll learn, for example, how I automate X, newsletters, shorts, Instagram, AI avatar videos, and also you can learn how to get more clients with the agency course. We have we have multiple coaching calls per week that you can watch back. And then also, if you want to learn how to rank #1 with AI SEO, we've got a full setup there. Plus, if you want to grow and scale your YouTube channel, we've got a setup guide right there. Link in the comments description. Feel free to get that. Or go to aiprofitboardroom.com. Wilty says, Julian, I see marketing for Base 44. Is it useful? I've never used Base 44, actually. Never heard of it. Or I might have heard of it, but I've just never used it. What else we got here? All right, so today we're going to be learning how to orchestrate teams of Claude code sessions, right? So the new Opus 4.6 update just came out, and they've now created this sort of agent teams feature, like agent swarms, that you can use. And these teammates can work independently, each in its own context window, and communicate directly with each other, right? So you can have like multiple terminal windows, from what I understand. And these agents with multiple terminal windows with Claude code running can talk to each other, right? Now, these are not like sub-agents, right? Sub-agents run within a single session and can only report back to the main agent, right? What you're doing with this is you're having multiple different agents all working on their own tasks in parallel, and they're working as a team, and they can talk to each other, right? So agent teams are effective for tasks where parallel exploration adds real value. This is interesting because I really want to understand like how would you use this and why is it different versus normal stuff? Spoiler says base 44 uses your content all the time. They know you. Do they? I don't even know. Naheem says you're doing a lot, bro. Keep pushing. Thank you very much, sir. All right, so let's see what we got here. So you can put this inside the chat here. I think inside Claude, and then it can begin to do this, right? So we can say like create an agent team to review PR, spawn 3 reviewers, one focused on this, that, and this, have them each review and report team findings. Trying to get my head around what this actually means. Like, why would it be useful for me personally? So let's have a look what we got here. So for example, this is cool. So you say, okay, create an agent team to analyze my top 10 performing videos, spawn 3 teammates, have them debate findings and create a playbook document. Let's see if that actually works. So if we take that prompt here and I say, analyze my YouTube videos via, and then I'll just grab my my YouTube channel here. This is going to be interesting. If we have 3 agents that can analyze my YouTube channel at the same time, I'm going to be using this a lot. So let's see. We're going to open up a new window here. We'll open up Claude, right? So you need to make sure you have Claude code installed. Got loads of training on that. And then we're going to type in this prompt here. See if it actually works. DR says, given the unique reasoning patterns of Claude 4.6 and ChatGPT 5.3, how could OpenClaw orchestrate them in a single workflow to maximize decision-making efficiency without creating conflicting outputs? So one of the ways that I would recommend doing that, if you really wanted to, I don't think you need to switch between them, but if you really wanted to, then you could actually just have sub-agents, right? So you could have one agent by ChatGPT Codex 5.3 that's doing one task, for example, like SEO content, and then you've got another agent. So, for example, Claude Opus 4.6, and that could be creating social media content. And then you've got these sub agents that are working on different tasks, and they can work on them in parallel because you've got multiple agents and APIs plugged in. Flavin says, please figure out to make OpenClaw be able to use this new system in any model, not just Claude. Which new system do you mean? Yeah, short form says sub-agents. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is there any way to make Codex 5.3 the main brain of OpenClaw? From what I saw today, even Even Codex 5.3 couldn't figure out how to put Codex 5.3 inside Claude, whereas Claude Opus could. But I'm sure there's a way. I just, I'm not a coder. So let's say create an agent team to analyze my SEO content, right? And we'll try that. And then I'm going to take some content from my website and just see if it can work with it, right? So we'll grab a blog, take a random blog that we recently published, go down here, copy that. Plug that in, go back to the terminal, paste that in. Let's see if that works. Agent swarms, he means agent, I think it's called agent teams. That's what Claude call it, right? It's not agent swarms, I think is a Kimi K2.5 code is, but we're using teams, right? So if you look at the documentation from Claude Code, they don't talk about swarms, they talk about teams. Swarms is more for Kimi K2.5. You can see here. What's the usage looking like for Opus 4.6? We'll check that out in a sec. That's a good question. Just smashing a protein shake at the same time. There we go. Look at that. Already hit my limit. Yeah, already hit the limit. I don't know if to be honest, I don't know if like the usage limits have changed. It didn't mention anything about that from what I saw inside the documentation. So so look at this. All right, so this is cool. So it says, I'll launch 3 specialist agents in parallel to analyze your content from different angles, then synthesize their findings into a playbook, right? And if we have a look here, we're running 3 different agents at the same time. So we have this team of SEOs who are working on this, which is really cool. That's a really cool idea. So you got SEO patterns analysis agent, the engagement metrics agent, and the SEO semantics agent as well, right? And they're all running as one team that are working in parallel together, right? You can see the actual layout of them here. So that is really, really cool. Let me have a look and see, right? Okay, what else would we use this for? So, for example, content analysis, competitor research would be really cool. Like you can analyze 5 different competitor channels at the same time. And you could create an agent team with 5 teammates, 1 per channel, right? So each can analyze in the same way, but they're working on different channels at the same time in parallel. And then you could get jobs done quickly, and you've got these agents working in parallel together. You could be like a batch script review. So you have like 20 video scripts, and then you've got a team with 4 reviewers. One's for SEO optimization, one's for hooks, one's for clarity, structure, etc. Coding use cases as well. So reviewing different parts of the code, handling the front end and the back end. That's quite a cool idea. Bug investigation, migration and refactoring, documentation sprints. So one reading like API documentation, another one writing setup and deployment guides. Video ideas. This is cool. All right, so you could have like a team of 3 agents. One generates trendy and viral angle ideas. One generates evergreen educational content ideas, and one critiques both of those sets. Right. The only thing that I would warn you of to be careful of here is like if you've got 3 different agents working at the same time, then you're 3xing your token usage. Right. So it's quite a smart move by Claude because the number of tokens people are going to use, well, all of a sudden you can use like 3 or 5 times as many tokens at the same time, which is not ideal. And then also we've got script optimization pipeline here too. One thing that I really like, this is maybe my favorite so far. So we use Skill Boss inside Claude Code, and that allows us to generate images for thumbnails inside Claude Code. Now, if we had an agent team to design 3 thumbnail variations, that's cool. That is a cool idea, right? So you could have one that designs high contrast, text heavy style, one that designs minimal face focus, and one that designs curiosity gap mystery style, right? And each explains their psychological reasoning. Insane. I love that idea. Love it. So if you want to get a full guide on how to use these and some use cases for AI agents, because the first time I heard of that, I was like, I don't know if I'd use it. But actually, when I look at those use cases, I'm like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And that's one of the most impressive use cases I've seen from Claude. I'll put the link to the documentation in there as well. There we go. And let's see how those agents are doing right now. So we'll go back to the terminal here, see what we got. N says, creating multiple agents only provides a real benefit of honing in individual prompts and using most of the context window, but it also ends up using many tokens quicker. That's what I was saying, right? But the thing is, if you like the thumbnail one is awesome, right? Because if you can create, like for me, I hate waiting for thumbnails. So if I can have 3 agents that create thumbnails at the same time and I can just move like 3 times faster, then that's great for productivity, right? That's going to save a lot of time. Same for SEO content. If it's like I can create 3 different versions of the same blog in one go in a third of the time, and I have to generate them anyway, that's really useful, right? So I can see why this will be really cool. People did mention he runs through tokens like crazy. Yep, I would agree. Teams cost extra. Well, it's more tokens, isn't it? If we can use the same agent teams inside of OpenClaw for any model, it would be powerful. Oh, this is a cool one. Cool idea from M. If you want self-developing and self-governing agents, you can create a performance coach agent and recruitment agent for hiring more agents. Interesting. I've never heard of that, but I never even thought about that. I don't know if that works. How can I avoid using all my usage and tokens up? Any advice? You can switch between APIs. You don't have to use Claude, right? That's probably the best way. I've seen some updates and skills that use less tokens per request as well, but I've not tested them. And also I'm very wary about stuff like that because if you don't know what you're doing or you don't know what's inside the skill MD file, then you got to be careful installing it, right? What else we got here? How can orchestrating multiple evolving AI models help people make better decisions in unpredictable scenarios? So you could just ask Claude that, right? You could say like create 3 agents that would predict the outcomes from this situation. You have the teams working in parallel. This guy is insane, short form hand says. So yeah, that's basically it. Now you can see this takes absolutely ages. So it's still not come back to me. It's still writing the playbook. But if you want the full setup on how we run agent teams, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom right here. Link in the comments description. This is my AI automation community. and you can get it at aiprofitboarding.com. If you go inside the community, you can post any questions you have. We always have people online, so there's always someone to help you and learn from and that sort of thing. You can share your wins, share what you're working on. We have a daily accountability group as well if you want to join that. And you can see that it's not just me winning with this stuff, right? So for example, like Steve Light is crushing his YouTube channel challenge for AI. You can see that Abdullah built his first NA to N automation. He's like, thanks, AI Profit Boarding. Appreciate that. First AI automation successfully completed. You got CJ, who installed NA10 locally and learned how to do that, right? Loads of people winning and learning and growing with this stuff. Now, inside the calendar, you can jump on live coaching calls, get help, and get support on the live call if you need help. And then also inside the classroom, you can jump on this course right here, and it shows you how to go from beginner to expert with AI automation in just 5 weeks. Plus, you'll learn how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. On top of that, you'll learn from our playbooks. So we'll show you, for example, how to automate AI avatar videos based on what's working for me, how to screen share your videos with AI avatars too, how to automate your emails, how I automate my X, etc., Instagram. Everything is inside the AI Profit Boarding. Additionally, you can learn how to get more clients with the agency course. You will also learn how to rank #1 with AI SEO over here, and also how to grow a YouTube channel based on what's working for me inside the 6-week roadmap here. And if you can't make the coaching calls, no problem. You can watch them back right there. Right. So feel free to get that link in the comments description or go to the aiprofitboardroom.com. Thanks for watching.